Hey everybody, this is Todd with Coyote Fieldcraft here in southeast New Mexico, and today we're taking a look at these different radios out here in our environment, see how well they like the sunlight, like the shade, how usable they are, which ones work well, which ones don't. As is normal here in southeast New Mexico, we're starting to enjoy the wind kicking up, so I'll try to keep this as brief as I can out here. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to test these in the sunlight out here, we're going to test them in the shade, and then we're going to test them indoors, and then put that information up there, kind of give you our brief opinion of what works, what doesn't work, and what we're seeing, and our use case of how we've used them maybe, and leave it up to you to give us some comments as far as what you think your experience with them has been and which ones you like. So we look forward to sharing our information as much as we enjoy getting your knowledge back as well. Alright, here are our test subjects all lined up and ready to go for the indoor test. We're going to start on the left with the DM-32UV, which is seems to be a very popular radio right now. So with the screen on, you can see that in the indoor test that it's very visible, no problems with clarity, no problems with being able to see it. There are some issues with reflection and whatnot, which is to be expected with any of these, so just keep that in mind. The DM-32, which is another variant of the same radio, but is the analog only version of the DM-32UV. You can see that its screen has a little bit less clarity to it, a little bit less color to it. This is by design. The radio itself doesn't have any of the settings and any of the capabilities as far as the screen goes as the DM-32UV does. Next we have our UV-Pro indoor test. This is another one of the Baofeng BTECH newer radios. You can see that its screen is definitely colored. It definitely has some clarity to it. Not bad screen. Next to it is what is called one of their Bluetooth mics. This one, of course, is the BS50. And it kind of has a, just the same type of screen on it, full functionality on it, and not bad overall indoors. Next is the Baofeng F8HP. This is one of their older radios. It was actually my first radio that I got in the Baofeng series, and you can kind of see how the screen there is definitely readable. And, to me anyway, the clarity is there. This is a Baofeng UV-5R Plus. This is actually a newer radio. I think I got this one maybe a month or two ago. And it has the same screen, or very similar screen to it as the FHAP. You can see it's still the monochrome. Not bad indoors. So we are outside. We have nothing but blue sky and that bright yellow thing out there like we usually have down here in southeast New Mexico. And here we have our contestants for who works in the sunlight and who struggles with it. Alright, so first off we have our contestant, the DM-UV-32, and you can see this, it's on. I can maybe make something out on it, but you can see that here in the daylight. One of the big drawbacks to this unit is you can't see anything. Next we have the DM-32, which is again the same model. It's analog only. It doesn't have any of the DMR functionality, the digital functionality of the UV. And I can see a little bit more on it. I don't know if it's picking it up on the screen, but it's kind of usable, but that would be debatable. Next we have the UV-Pro. to me, this one is definitely usable outside. I can see it. I can change channels on it. I'm hoping that's coming up in the video. I guess we'll see when we get back inside. I think this one uses probably a similar screen to it. This is, again, the microphone, the BS-50. And hopefully you can see the screen on it. It's kind of hard for me to even see it out here with as bright as it is. I can kind of make out stuff on it. You know, it's usable here now that I'm looking at it. It definitely would be usable. So next, interestingly enough, we have the F8HP, and the screen is beautiful outdoors. I mean, this thing is so readable. You know, I can make it out of it's a night and day difference. This screen is just rocking it outside. And finally, we have the good old mainstay, the UV-5R, 5R Plus. And again, the screen is beautiful. I mean, you can't knock it. I mean, it's got a beautiful screen. You can see this thing outside all day long. So let's move back into the shade, and let's take a look at them, how they do in the outdoors with a shade environment. So far, it's not looking real good for, you know, the newer radios. They're having problems out here in this bright sunlight, which is a major factor out here in southeast New Mexico, is that, you know, it's bright most of the damn time when you're outside. So let's go take a look and see how they handle the shade. All right, so now we have them lined up in the shade. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at them left to right, just like we did before. They're all lined up pretty much in the same way that we had them, trying to keep it consistent in that. There might be a little flip between the F8HP and the UV-5R. I'm not 100% on that, but regardless, you know, you can kind of tell the difference between them a little bit. Anyway, starting with the UV-32, you can kind of see its screen is legible now in the shade. It's definitely usable. You could tune it, adjust it, make setting changes, whatever you needed to in the shade anyway. The DM-32, you can see that its screen there is definitely usable. Easy to see, easy to adjust, no problems there. The BTECH UV-Pro, again, you know, no problems here in the sunlight, or I'm sorry, in the shade. Definitely, you can see it. You can see what's going on there. And the hand mic is the same way. Definitely usable, definitely visible here in the shade. The two old dogs, the UV-5R Plus, you know, man, its screen is just, you know, easy to see. You can definitely adjust it, make changes to it, whatever you needed to do in the shade, no problem with it. And the F8HP, which is actually, I think, would be their oldest radio out here, still doing an excellent job of being visible in the shade. Just, you know, no problems with it. It's a good, rock solid little screen. So with that in mind, you know, I think it's starting to show, you know, here we got lots of functionality between some of these and lesser functionality in some of them. But I think the biggest thing that we're really starting to see indications of is that functionality is great, but if you can't see it to use it, how good is that functionality? You know, so that is something to keep in mind when you're picking these radios, is, you know, the environment that you're going to be using them in and how well they fit in that environment. And that's been kind of the conversations that I've had with some people here over the past was, you know, people really praising one of these over others. And then, you know, when you ask them the question of, hey, what about, you know, visibility? How does it work there? How do you think about that? You know, you get a lot of, you get some pause on that. And so that's what kind of led me to this idea of doing this video, is being able to actually show that, and where we can take a look at it and make those decisions for ourselves. After going through all tests and reviewing them each in sunlight, shade, and indoors, definitely You know, the old dogs, the UV-5R and the FHAP, you know, they both did outstanding in all the environments. They had no issues outdoors as well as in the shade or indoors. So definitely something to keep in mind, you know, as they do have some different capabilities in them that, you know, they may not have had in the past, but they do now, as far as a little bit more power and whatnot. So different things to look at and research there when you're thinking about radios. Out of the newer ones, to me, the UV-Pro screen, to me, worked the best. I mean, it's definitely, you can see even right now, it's definitely viewable, whereas the DM-32UV, where, you know, it may have the functionality of the DMR to it, which is a great thing, but, you know, how great is it if you can't see it? You know, that's been always a challenge with it, is if you bump it or you get knocked off of a frequency and you're trying to get it back on, you got to go find some shade or get back in your vehicle to figure out, you know, what you need to do to get on the right frequency. So that's kind of my take on all this is, you know, the old guys there, boy, they seem to really just kick ass and take names. The UV-Pro, you know, definitely good. It definitely has some different capabilities and features that I would recommend you take a look at and compare them yourself between the two. I mean, there's lots of great videos out there on them and how to use them and what their different characteristics and features are, and I'm not going into that today. This is a video more about how do they work in the sunlight. You know, what's their usability as far as the screens go, and that's the main thing that we wanted to cover today and visit with you about was, you know, carrying it as an everyday radio or carrying it with you as you're doing things and you're looking for a different form of communication. How does that fit into, you know, these different characteristics? A lot of people always talk about, you know, the output, the antenna, the capabilities within the unit itself, but being able to know how they're going to operate in your environment, you know, just being able to function as a piece of your equipment, I think that's a really good thing to know. And you know, we look forward to hearing your opinions and your ideas on it. And just going to throw a shameless plug out there as well, in that we'll have a link in the section under the video there for our store, where we make and sell all these different stands and different holders and whatnot for vehicles for pretty much all these radios. So to keep them safe and secure while you're, you know, motoring down the road, keep that thing from flopping around off the seat or whatever, and keep it steady on your desk. I mean, I think you saw it in the videos today. It happened a time or two where you take this thing out and it doesn't take a lot to knock it down. And that's the nice thing about these desktop holders is, you know, they'll definitely keep it up and keep it to where it's not knocking down and possibly going on the floor. So anyway, thank y'all so much for spending a few minutes with me. And, you know, over time, we'll go over some more stuff and get a little bit more information out there and get a little bit better. So thank y'all and have a wonderful day.